the wrong one. Oh no. Oh, okay, we're good. Everyone's fine, we're all alive. Hey there, guys. So, I'm back. And I know I promised you we'd be playing Pandemic, which we probably still will, but I made an impulse buy. I was on Board Game Geek. Well, first, let me introduce myself through my hands. Hi. My name is Jake Vitrofsky. I'm here with ZealZaddy at the fantastic Adventure Game Store in Davie, Florida. Adventure Game Store is an institution where you can come for all your board gaming needs. They've got all sorts of awesome board games, tabletop games, dice, mats, miniatures. If you watched that thing Critical Role online and you said, hey, I don't know how this works, I want to play this Dungeons and Dragons game thing, you can come here and we can teach you. What else? If you've listened to fantastic podcasts like Find the Path or the Glass Cannon podcast, sponsored by Paizo, well, guess what? Adventure Game Store's got Pathfinder, 1st, 2nd edition rulebooks, playmats, anything that you could possibly need relating to the board gaming, tabletop gaming, miniature gaming industry. This is the place in Davie, Florida for you to come. It's awesome. The people who run the store and own the store are fantastic. I'm here in the Yellow Games studio where we stream games, and I'm going to do an unboxing of Terraforming Mars. I just want to thank, more specifically, Cliff and Scott, for the creators of ZealZaddy, and the executive producers for allowing me to take over their channel and do this unboxing. I don't know how they let me do this, but they did. So, we're here. If you're interested, please check out 2 of the shows that are on the channel, Crosscodes and Zealots of Zool, both of which I am a star in. In Crosscodes, I play Elidir Ferris, also known as Boots, and Eldori Cybermancer. So if you like sci-fi and space operas like Star Wars or Star Trek or The Expanse, that's the show for you. It's pretty awesome. We have a bunch of backlogged episodes that you can find on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search ZealZaddy. We also have a Twitch, an Instagram, a Twitter. We're at ZealZaddy on all of them. The only one is that we're not, ironically, youtube.com/ a bunch of digits or whatever. But just go to YouTube, search ZealZaddy, you'll find our videos. They're all on there. The other one is Zealots of Zool, which is a game that we typically play on Sunday nights, GM'd by Cliff Dunn. And in that game, I play Alexides, a nobleman. And that game's a lot of fun. It's a lot of intrigue, heavy role-playing, heavy storyline, plot development. It's a lot of fun. It's very much in line with sword and sorcery types of stories, Robert Howard, the Conan series type of stuff. So check that out if that's something that interests you. And I guess that's all the shameless plugs that I'm going to do in this episode of Board Gaming with Jake. And I guess we should get started. So Terraforming Mars is a indie board game that has been getting a lot of press and coverage and a lot of really, really great reviews. I was on Board Game Geek, which I frequent probably more than I would like to admit, and saw that this game is up there. I recently acquired Gloomhaven, so for those of you who have played Gloomhaven, you know how awesome that game is, which is right there at the top of the Board Game Geek charts. This game is also up there. I think it's either number 3 or number 4 on the charts. And I thought to myself, hey, I love Mars. I love that movie, The Martian, whatever the heck that movie was. There's all these really awesome movies about Mars. And, a game where you're terraforming the planet just sounds cool. It's so sci-fi. It's so something that I really just dig. So the game just kind of made sense to me. And then it had really awesome reviews. So I was like, oh, I have to get this game. So came into the game store this morning. You probably or may have seen I did a tutorial video on how to play Pandemic, which we may be playing a little bit later today. And I was walking around the game store and I saw, oh, what is that on the shelf? That's a copy of Terraforming Mars. I've been wanting that game. So, you know, impulse buy. I got it. So I figured I would come here and do an unboxing for you so that we could explore this together. I've not yet seen what's in this box. I've never played this game. So this is going to be an exploratory mission for both of us. So let's get started. I've got this super nice plastic film on the box. The only thing that I've done so far is cut the plastic film around the bottom of the box by just taking like the knife and going under here. But this is really the first reveal. I've yet to open this box, so let's do it together. Oh, and there goes the plastic. And it's gone. Okay, and we get rid of it. Okay, so now we've got our beautiful box. Let's look at the exterior of this. So this game is made by Stronghold Games. They do make a lot of resource management type of games, a lot of world building type of games, type of like Catan-ish sort of stuff. This game says 1 to 5 players. Oh, I can play by myself. I don't even need anyone else. That's awesome. Ages 12 and up. You know, that's more of a guideline if we've all seen those types of movies. And then the time to play is between 90 minutes and 2 hours. So, okay, let's see. What does the box say on the front? Coming to Mars was a big step. Making it habitable will give us a new world. Very cool. And then they've got some cool quotes on the front. On the back, we get a little bit of a peek into what is inside the box. So it says, the taming of the red planet has begun. Corporations are competing to transform Mars into a habitable planet by spending vast resources and using innovative technology to raise the temperature, create a breathable atmosphere, and make oceans of water. As terraforming progresses, more and more people will immigrate from Earth to live on the red planet. In Terraforming Mars, you control a corporation with a certain profile. Play project cards, build up production, place your cities and green areas on the map, and race for milestones and awards. Will your corporation lead the way into humanity's new era? So clearly it shows you that it's a world building type of deck. You can see on the back here, there's some hex pieces that seem to have different colors. It looks a lot to me like what's the game? Something of Vegas, Lords of Vegas, where or like Ticket to Ride kind of deal, where it has the scoreboard going around the outside of the board, and I would guess, based on my experience playing other games like that, as you score points in the game, you're going to have a tracker that goes along the outside of the board with your corresponding color, and that's how you'll keep track of everyone's score. Pretty basic. It's a mechanic that we've seen in a lot of games. So a lot of really good games use this mechanic. Ticket to Ride is a great game, and it does similarly have that type of score tracking. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's see what else we have here. I am receiving a phone call from the boss. Give me 1 second. Hello. Oh, awesome. I am doing this unboxing stream. No, it's fine. Bye. That was Scott checking in on me and making sure that I'm still alive. Which I am. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. So we've got, it looks like the projects are done via cards, and there seems to be some sort of resources associated with it. And now we have build your economy, execute huge projects, and transform the planet. And then it just tells us what the contents of the box are. 1 rules booklet, 1 game board, 200 player markers, 200 resource markers. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of small pieces. 5 player boards, 233 cards, and 80 tiles. And then no information that we haven't already seen elsewhere. Let's open up this box. Okay, here we go. Taking the whoa, this is a cool box. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So now we have a bunch of tokens. Oh, I love when game manufacturers give you baggies for your tokens. Like, kudos to you. I bought Gloomhaven and I had all of these like cardboard punch outs and nowhere to put them. I have to invest in a broken token box organizer and the thing costs like $90 bucks. It's crazy. This is awesome. This box comes with a bunch of baggies in it that already organize all of the tokens for you. Kudos to you, Stronghold Games. Doing it right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we've got some of these big gold type of tokens. Not sure what those are for yet. We've got smaller cuboid, copper-ish tokens. Okay. Why do I feel like I'm back playing Pandemic? Okay, I've got Pandemic style, red, blue, black, and yellow tokens. Pretty standard game markers. And then we have some silver ones as well. And we've got a bunch of green ones, a bunch of green tokens. And then we have 3 big white tokens. Not sure what those are for yet, but I guess we'll find out when we read some of the rules. Okay, so that's what we've got in this nice big plastic bag. So all those will go back in there. Okay. Now we've got a couple of decks of cards. Let's see what we got. Oh, so I bought a special box set, I guess, that included the Corporate Era expansion. It seems there's some advertisements on some of these cards for additional expansions. I guess there's an expansion number 5, Influence the Terraforming Committee to give your corporation an advantage as global events affect the game. So that's Terraforming Mars Turmoil. I don't know. And then there's just a card back here that shows you Stronghold Games. Let's open up some of these cards and see what we got. I love opening new board games. Yes, I did just smell the cardboard. I have a weird habit. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Okay, so let's take this add card and go whoop. Gone. Oh. That landed pretty appropriately. Okay, get rid of some of this plastic. Okay. Another one. Fry Games. Another one. Oh, I guess they have there's a Terraforming Mars digital game. Experience the digital version of Terraforming Mars on Steam, tablet, and smartphone. That's cool. I didn't know that. So, there you go. There is an expansion number 1, 2 additional game boards to Terraforming Mars, giving you new milestones and awards and new strategic choices called Hellas and Elysium. Oh, they're the moons of Mars. Very cool. So there's another expansion for you guys. And then, okay, so the back of these cards look really cool. It looks like a terraformed, it looks like Mars in the process of being terraformed, which is very cool looking, actually. It's almost like someone took Earth and Mars and just like smashed them together through digital editing. Very cool looking cards on the backs. And then the fronts, let's look at what we have here. Okay, so it says there's a bunch of different event cards, I guess. So here's an example. It says 8 whatever, maybe points. Max 5 oxygen. That's probably what that is, because it says here at the bottom in really fine print, oxygen must be 5% or less. So this is probably a card that gets played early on in the game in the terraforming process. Colonizer Training Camp. And then there's maybe 2 copper, preparing for settlement of the moons of Jupiter. Very cool. Interesting. And then we have a bunch of these different cards. Okay, so we will find out what those are for later. Let's open up the other card pack and see what we have inside. I love opening up new board games. I feel like I should do more of these videos. I just need more money. If you guys want to buy me board games just so that you can hear my dulcet tones, open them and explain them to you, feel free. Support us on our Patreon. We have a Patreon. If you give us money, I will make more board game opening videos. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, and then we have, oh, here we go. Here's all the other expansions for the game. I already have this one. I don't know why I gave you that, but okay, so we have an expansion 2, Venus Next. New corporations, new projects, and a whole new planet to terraform alongside Mars. So we have a second expansion. Expansion 3, Prelude. Prelude cards that boost your corporation at the very start of the game. New corporations and new projects. Another expansion. Colonies. Build colonies and trade with different moons to bring useful resources back to Mars. Okay, and the last expansion, Turmoil, which I guess we already kind of went over. These are also cool cards. I don't know what the difference is between those cards and these cards yet, but I guess we'll find out. So these cards, there's a bunch of different ones. Whoa, okay. So these cards have on the back what looks like the surface of Mars. And on the front side, oh, they're rules. They're rules cards. Awesome. So it seems to be like 2 sets of rules cards. So generation, tiles, general, and game end and scoring. So it's like a couple of rules cards. So probably as a reference for you while you're playing the game to have them on the table. These are always useful. I like to put these in sleeves whenever I get new games. I actually have just a big box of card sleeves of different sizes that I keep in my car when I get new games, especially these rules cards. I like to sleeve them just to keep them protected. Okay, next. Okay, we have now we have more cards. So a few cards that have like a black and white image of like Earth, and Venus, and the moon. So there's 5 of these. Beginner corporation cards. So these are probably your starter card for beginning as a corporation. So I wouldn't be surprised if these are probably not. These are going to be how you get started with the game. Okay, next we have a bunch of additional cards that have the same image on them, but that image is not in black and white, it is in color. So let's see what these are. Oh, these are different corporations. So these are probably the different corporations that you play as during the course of the game. So we have Credit Corps, Ecoline, I don't know what any of these mean. And you start with 57. They're different resources, starting resources, I guess, associated with the different corporations. What's the hold on. Let's see. I'm going to see what, I'm getting messages. I have to see what the messages are. What's the retail on this? Oh, okay. So the retail on this particular game, because it includes one of the expansions, or I guess, this was $69.99. I believe that the base game without that expansion, like the original version of Terraforming Mars, is $49.99 retail. So that's sort of what this game goes for. We have all of these different corporations. We have Credit Corps, Ecoline, Helion, Interplanetary Cinematics, Inventrix, the Mining Guild. Why does it look like they play Minecraft? The production quality is actually really, really good. You know, sometimes I've opened other games, and you'll feel like they use really flimsy card stock, or the printing quality isn't really good, and there's some pixelation around like the edges. Some of the cards are difficult to read. I haven't had that problem yet with any of these pieces that I've opened so far. You know, the tokens are pretty generic things, so those are pretty easy. But the quality of the box and the quality of the imagery and the cards that I'm seeing so far is actually pretty good. So, I don't know though. We will see as we continue to go along. So these, I guess, are your corporations. So we'll see what that's about. Okay, this is... I suppose that these are probably the additional cards associated with gameplay. I did get one card out of the box. It would seem like that the corner is a little bit messed up. It didn't get cut properly, and it's kind of messed up. But it was one out of 233 cards. You know, they can't all be perfect. You could wish that they'd all be perfect, but, you know. Other than that, production quality on these cards and on all the other pieces seems pretty good. You know, sometimes I like to look at when you open up the box and you unwrap your cards. Sometimes you can see that the way that they cut the cards out, they use like a punch. And sometimes in lower quality games, the punch that they use doesn't uniformly cut the cards. Here you can see that some of the corners over here are not completely flush with each other, but you know, the card stock seems to be pretty good and the printing that's on them is really good. So, you know, I'll forgive them for not having the greatest card punching machine. Okay, so we have beginning corporations, we have additional corporation cards, and we have our rule cards. That seems to be what we have here. And then these seem to be, what do they call them? They call them project cards. I guess these are our project cards. Okie doke. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so we have... Okay, so these I would like to see... Here, you want to go into production quality. These I would say are probably the player mats. They're a little flimsy. They're kind of on like a shiny, like gloss cardstock, but they're not thick. When I get game boards that I'm going to be playing and putting pieces on, I like to have these be a thicker cardstock and not like a flimsy, especially if I'm putting it in front of me and putting stuff on it. But what would probably be good to do with these, if you get them, I would laminate these. This is something that I would get laminated, and then you have it. Because this is going to be your play mat. And it seems like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 play mats, which, you know, makes sense. It's a 5-player game. So, which is very odd. This is, you know, I find that it's odd to find games that allow you to play with an odd number of players really easily, and it's usually 2 to 4. So having 5 players in this game probably increases the complexity level, but it also makes it a more flexible game. So, you know, that's not a bad thing. There's 2 additional Ziploc baggies that I got in here. Don't know what they're for. Probably for the punch-out pieces. Again, really awesome to see that the the people who are making this game, so I feel like I didn't give these other guys a shout-out. Fricks Games. Didn't give them a shout-out. I only gave Stronghold a shout-out. Sorry, Fricks. They're really thinking ahead and putting a lot of reusable Ziploc bags in the box to use when you have to punch stuff out. So now let's open up the game board. Let's see. So the game board is made, oh yeah. So this is a nice solid game board. The printing is, the printing is like directly onto the game board, it seems like, which is nice. And the font is easy to read, so that's always something that I take into account. You know, I really don't like having to look all over the game board to try and find fonts that need to be referenced in gameplay. I don't know, I haven't played this game yet, so not really sure how certain things work. But from what I can tell, there's a lot going on in this game. There's a lot of different milestones. It seems like this is going to be a pretty admin-heavy game, which I don't dislike, but I typically, when I have friends who don't play a lot of board games, I try to avoid admin-heavy games because I've come to realize that when people don't play a lot of board games, the more rules there are, the more reluctant people are going to be to wanting to try a game. So this is, it seems to me, this is going to be a game that I bust out for my friends that really like playing board games. Maybe I'll suffer my girlfriend to have to learn the rules, but we'll see. She abhors Gloomhaven. She thinks the rule set is absolutely ridiculous, and it takes way too long to set up, which I don't disagree, but you know, that's exactly what happens. You have a game that has way too many rules, and then everyone's like, I don't know how to play this, I'm not even gonna bother learning. She likes to play like Clue and Risk and stuff, but you know, and I don't blame her. Those games are classics, and they're fun to play, and the rules are relatively simple. You know, backgammon is one of her favorite games, and it's been around for a really long time. And it's been around for a really long time because the rules are so simple. So, but this seems to be rules heavy, but you know, this is, so I just pulled the rule book out, and the rule book is 15 pages. So it's not that bad. This is nice. In the rule book, there's a symbols reference. I am starting to see this more and more frequently, especially in the better, higher quality games. They have a symbols reference at the back that just has everything in it. It's really, really crucial, especially if you have a rules-heavy game, that you have a symbols reference in some sort of index or at the back of your rules booklet. Okay, let's see what else. The other thing that I like to check for that I'm looking at this rules book that I don't like as much as I've seen in other games. I typically like to have the setup of the game be on the first page. So when I open up rules book, it's like, how do you play? Setup, and then have all my other rules. There's a table of contents at the front here. It says that setup is on page 7, and we can go to page 7. And here's the other thing that I don't like. I'm sure this is a great game. It has a lot of really good reviews, but I'm just trying to be, you know, critical in a good way when it comes to this. Setup pages that are text heavy and don't have a lot of imagery are very, very difficult to approach, especially for new gamers. So that's definitely a critique on this, is that the setup of the game, this is all text, right? And I don't want to have to read through blocks of text every time I come to set up the game. But I guess we'll see. And then there's blocks of, we'll see. I'm sure that this is a good game. Okay, and then last but not least, we have hex punch-outs. So here's your hex punch-outs for the game. Nice cardboard. Let's see. Perforations are really good. These just popped right out. And then I would assume, though I don't like to make assumptions, I would assume that these pieces are going to go into these baggies that they gave us. So I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing. I guess I have to read through these rules, and then maybe I'll come back and do a how to play video after I've played it a couple times. Because, the setup thing is a little bit intimidating. But hope you enjoyed it. Overall, my impression of the game just out of the box, on a rating scale, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. The production quality of the box is good. The materials all look really good. The printing in here is pretty good. A couple things, I guess my pros. This game has gotten a lot of really good reviews. It's 1 to 5 players, 90 to 120 minutes, pretty solid. The production quality of things is pretty good. I guess my cons, I would have 3 real negative points about this game, at least from first glance. It seems to be very rules and admin heavy. Having never played it before, there seems to be a lot of pieces and a lot of symbols to reference in the instructions booklet, which leads me to believe, just from my previous experience, that this is probably a very admin heavy game. My next con is that the player mats are kind of flimsy. I wish that these were printed on a heavier stock or some sort of board. That would be nice. And then again, the layout of the rules, I would really, really wish that the setup were at the beginning and that it were more of an infographic than a page of block text. So that's it. 8 out of 10. I'll do another review after I do the how to play video, and I will give you my final thoughts and impressions, and then maybe we'll put together a few videos of us playing the game. Thanks for watching. This has been Jake taking over the ZealZaddy channel to do a game unboxing for Terraforming Mars. See you guys later.